Hey, hello everyone! Welcome to our 14th session of Scion, Birth of the New Gods. I am Simon at Wandering DM. He, him, I'll be the fates for this afternoon, trying to put our group of godlings into as much trouble as possible. But before we recap what happened last week, just go around the table, introduce our characters and our cast so that you know who is who among these fine fellow players. We'll begin with the person to my right on the overlay, and then we'll go around clockwise. So our first one is Lynn. Hi.
Hey, I'm Lynn, she, her, and I am playing Higa, the daughter of Inari, also she, her.
Up next, we have Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee Rhodes, she, her. Morning is my character, also she, her. She's Scion of the Morrigan.
And then moving on to our next player, Hannah. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I am Hannah, she, her, and I will be playing Kieran Kearney, he, him, Scion of Loki.
And last but certainly not least, we have Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and in this game I play Eddie Kele, the Scion of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.
And last we left our group of godlings. They had escaped Ticonderoga with John, the hunter. I say escape because they saw one other wolf security car in town. Didn't look like a van, looked more like a regular sedan with the wolf security logo on it. So you drove your Jeep all the way through upstate New York back into your extra dimensional abode near Niantic. You left some of your ill-gotten weaponry in your brand new weapon vault that is apparently right behind Eddie's painting in the house. JD sort of explained a few things. He asked you a few questions about hunting down your quarry, basically Mr. Ulfer Stevenson. Spoke about the concept of a sanctum. What is the place where this person feels the most secure, which is probably going to be the place where they retreat if their entire operation or their livelihood falls in shambles. It is, as he explained it, how they hunted down the Lion of Nemea. And trying to recount this story, you all realized that he couldn't quite remember everything, and that the more he tried, the less he remembered. So he eventually just stopped trying. Then you went outside to test out the pelt of the lion, with Eddie unloading an entire clip's worth of bullets into the pelt, held up by JD. The pelt is bulletproof. It cannot be pierced. It is very unwieldy, as it is a giant lion's pelt, but if someone was to cover themselves with it and just curl into a ball on the ground, they'd be virtually immune to just about anything, except, as JD put it, blunt force trauma, which is something he suffered as the 20 bullets from the rifle hit the pelt. He was standing right behind it, holding it up, and he's got multiple bruises on his chest, so he just went to lie down on the couch with a bag of ice and relax. We left the group at the end of last session with Morning going to rest in her room after the events of what happened at John's place. The three others of you decided to try to make a plan. Try to figure out what you could do, and it ended up being with the help of this one small-time manager that you tried to con earlier, Mr. Boyce. With his help, you will be led into a board meeting, one that should be behind private doors. But as the office of this strange consultant that you incarnate, I guess, that you play Eddie, with the rest of his team, comprised of Morning, Dee, and Kieran, you are going to basically infiltrate the meeting, and the rest is a little hazy for me, but I wanted us to start to pick back on that. Since Morning didn't attend the planning meeting, she'll need to be caught up on things, and so will the GM. So how about that? Let's rewind the clock a few minutes and place ourselves back into the house, this cabin in the woods by the lake, and have you go through the plan one more time.
So, the idea was that we were going to attend a Wolf Security Company mixer that Kieran had arranged with Mr. Jeremy Boyce. And Eddie will be going as his aloof yet powerful, awe-inspiring character known as Hugh Dragonsbane. And he will be there to network and provide Jeremy with coaching, executive coaching. And Dee was coerced into becoming the marketing coordinator for their business. Mm-hmm. And we decided that Morning would, just be Morning. And
good plan. Solid plan.
Our intern, I guess, is what they'll, pass her off as.
Yeah.
But also the Harris of the another security company.
That's right. A secret security company that was not formed about a week ago, known as the Queen's Guard.
Nice. Trying to get Morning to dress up as anyone else, I think, would be a chore. Disguises just don't come naturally to her.
The lack of disguise will be her disguise.
Yes, exactly. Perfect.
We know how this works now.
Yeah, we've learned.
And this meeting is set to happen soon. So before we jump into that, is there any scenes, anything deeds related that you would like to role play through before we move on to the fated meeting?
As I am still catching up from last week, I don't have anything in particular that Morning would like to do at this juncture.
Okay.
Well, the last time we went to one of these, it kind of devolved into chaos with, as much as I love chaos and as good as I am in chaos, I kind of got my ass kicked by the first person I approached at that last meeting. So I would love a little bit of self-defense training before we go into another one of these meetings, if possible.
Please, the two fighters teach us.
Yeah, D as well. That would also be really helpful.
I mean, Morning really just swings her sword at things. Eddie's the one with the actual knowledge, but yes.
Mhm.
To be sure, we can certainly do that. I'm not sure how it would actually work exactly, but
Maybe we get Choppa's help to like set up some wood mannequins, like their children can come and help like set up some like little wood
wooden mannequins.
yeah, training dummies outside, like with some of their like the wood that they are harvesting from the surrounding trees, and then we can go out into the yard and practice on them.
but there already is a courtyard for hand-to-hand combat training, as well as a firing range. Just appeared right when we were building. It was always there, actually. In fact.
Wow. Okay.
And they were built by Choppa and his children.
Wow. Okay, so can we still have the little wooden training dummies?
Oh yeah. It's just so basically.
I want all of these beavers to come out. These big beavers to come out and be like, yes, here's this little person with this pat.
No, but as you say it, remember the magic of the place. As you say it, it becomes true.
Right.
So, as Morning is saying, like, oh, we could do this, we could do that, and then you realize that, oh yeah, we did that already.
Yeah, it's all right there.
So
And-
wild and cool.
Yeah, if you look outside by the patio door, you have your both the firing range that Choppa isn't super keen on. It's overlooking the lake, so that, you know, if you miss, you're not gonna hit any of the trees. And then on the other side, you have these wooden mannequins that that Choppa's children have carved little like smiley faces in each, and painted a like a red bullseye on the chest. They're all, you know, T-posing. They're not articulated or anything, and they're mostly made of, so it's like a solid wood core, and then the shape of the body is just roughly made with twigs and stuffed with like leaves and everything. So it's serviceable. Knowing the four of you, you will probably utterly destroy them, but they're there. And as the group goes outside, my favorite combat training montage song begins. I will not sing it because we will get DMCA'd, but it is Mulan's "Be a Man."
Yes, that was
The original Mulan "Be a Man."
Scion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie's going to put Morning through training and just make her attempt to climb that really tall pillar to grab the arrow at the top.
Morning will start focusing on that as Kieran and Dee work on their combat.
Let me see if I have something particularly epic. Oh, maybe this. And we will see this montage of Eddie, Morning, Dee, and Kieran. I'm gonna leave the, you know, GMing of this scene to you. What does it look like?
So, Eddie is going to try to keep things simple. I mean, it's kind of a crash course and doesn't really expect them to learn anything. So he's actually just going to teach them boxing. Just straight up boxing, get them conditioned. But the first exercise he is going to do is teach them, and it is kind of mean. He's going to get them used to being punched in the face. I'm like, okay, look. You guys are super powerful and all that, but you flinch when anything comes near your face. So you gotta get over that.
Yeah, because it hurts, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I know it hurts, but you're just not going to expect it. You just gotta brace yourself sometimes, and then he's just gonna throw a light back fist into Dee's face.
Ah, geez. Should we focus on maybe dodging rather than getting? I don't want to get repeatedly hit in the face by powerful.
I mean, you're not as super fast as
You should
Morning
be
over
looking
here.
out for that one.
Yeah, totally. But here, let me at least give you helmets so I don't,
Eddie
do concussions.
says you're not as fast as Morning over here, and you see Morning like moving around this giant pole and then like running at it and smacking into it and falling down.
Yeah. So it's fine. Just here's your basic stance. Here are all the punches that you need to know. Don't bother going for kicks because, no offense, but you're probably just gonna trip. So keep a good firm stance. Throw your punches. Don't throw just one punch. Always throw at least 2 or 3. Punch in succession. If you hit someone, don't stop hitting them until they fall down.
All right, what if we punch them and like their face doesn't move and they just look at you, like you punched me, and I'm gonna punch you back?
Then you should probably go hide behind midnight.
That sounds good.
I wouldn't recommend hiding against Morning because Morning is all over the place, and you don't want to keep chasing your cover. Maybe throw some sand in their eyes, throw a belt snake,
Right.
light them on fire, maybe distract them. Always try to do a distraction. See, like this, so that he's just gonna wave his hand up on one side, and when Kieran looks at it, he's just gonna punch with his other hand.
Oh, Jesus and Joseph Christ almighty. Could have broke my nose. That's my moneymaker.
Sorry, but so you got all the punches. There's a punching bag. You might want to wrap your fists because if your hands aren't conditioned to punching, you might break them and bleed. So, just keep at it. And then he'll just take them through interval training, so it'll be like 3 minutes of full-on cardio work with a 1 minute break in between.
Yeah, in the background you would see, like, leaning against the patio door frame, holding a mug of tea, a cup of tea in her hands. Winnie is just looking out at the at this entire montage of training. Chapa comes next to her, waddles next to her, and just looks at her and says, "Why isn't he showing them the ultimate intimidation technique? I mean, you just slap your tail on the ground like 5 times. It scares everyone." And she just turns to him. Turns back to all of you. They don't have tails, Chapa.
Actually,
Well,
D
D
has
has
tail.
one, yeah, but and yeah, with this, we'd see the entire training as the sun rises, reaches its zenith, sets, and in the evening you are all treated to a home-cooked meal that Winnie made while you were outside training. You are exhausted, bruised, battered, winded. Food is great. JD has recuperated a bit. He's still clutching his stomach from time to time, but he's able to sit and eat. Winnie breaks the silence over the meal and says, I've been keeping an eye on you today. You're all fairly decent at combat, she says, looking at Kieran and Dee. It's never been my forte, but I figured where you're headed, you might expect the worst. Should you need anything, well, I know Dee, I think I've seen you heal others before. I can also, if you want your bruises gone and everything, I can help.
I think I should be fine by the morning. I can take care of it. This isn't the worst. Although it's close. And she just kind of like tries to move and just like,
John, with his mouth half full, is like, you're all gonna be sore tomorrow morning.
As if to accentuate that, morning falls on her butt again.
The evening will be spent with just, small talk, fun, laughter, sort of a calm before the storm type of thing. And with your training in, what I will say is I will give you all a point of momentum.
Yay.
So we're going to move the momentum pool up to 5.
Thank you.
That will represent, your training and everything. So if you dip into that momentum pool later, then we'll say, that it's because of the training that you've had and everything. Bonus points if you manage to work it in.
Well done, Eddie. You've done so much with our sorry selves.
That's sorry.
It's helped. I'm fairly certain. I can't say for sure because the dice will determine if it helped or not later on, but
Sure.
we'll...
So do they all get like at least 1 point of close combat in their skills now?
I'd say not a free point, but there is a rule in Scion that when you start a session, you can move some points around. So if you wanted for this session, because of what happened, yes, it's true, you could move a point from any one of your skills and move it temporarily to close combat. Except if you have 5 points in close combat, then you're already a master. But
Right.
so if you need to, you can do that today, and then by next week that'll revert back to normal, unless you want to keep it there all the time.
cool.
But yeah, same for Eddie, because while you were teaching and everything, you still did it. I figured you taught by example, by showing. So you can also do that unless you already are at 5.
Yeah, I am. But that's okay.
And so we're going to move on to the fated day of the mixer. Early morning, the group wakes up to the smell of pancakes. In the kitchen, surprisingly, is not Winnie, who is yet to wake up. You see a John Daniel, wearing just a white tank top, pajama pants, bathrobe on, and cooking a mountain of pancakes. Gotta stock up on carbs. Take what you want. Most of it is for you. I'll keep some of them. And he just takes 2 more, 3 more. And sets his plate aside. But yeah, you are treated to a nice breakfast. JD sits down at the table and will ask the group, like, hey, is anyone nervous?
I mean, yeah, we're going right back. Mortal enemy. What?
Well, remember, he has to keep a human semblance of life.
Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily what's worrying me. He can still be in human guise and still send, all those security people after us. But hopefully we'll do a good job, and we won't need any of that new hand to hand that we did yesterday.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully.
You should never have to rely on combat. That should be your last resort.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At least for some of us.
Well, I mean, and he looks at Morning with her sword and everything. He's like, well, yeah, some of you were sort of made for that. I don't know how you can all get up and personal with these wolf people. It's a good way to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your distances if you can. He points to Eddie, Mr. Punchy Punch, and the Warrior Queen do their stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, violence is part of the whole thing. Sometimes it's inevitable. But sometimes it is. Remember, the more you know about your quarry, the better you're going to be at hunting it down. And I'm not talking about weaknesses or mythical abilities or whatnot. I'm talking about, why is he doing this? What's his endgame? What does he want?
I think we have a good idea what he wants. We would like all of our blood to stay inside our body, preferably. Mm-hmm.
Arts as well.
That's I'd say that's of vital importance.
Mm-hmm.
So, hope you've got everything all prepped up. Not like when you came to my place. Well, I mean, you didn't know you were going to get followed or something, right?
Well, no, but I don't really bring weapons with me. But I mean, Morning's got her war unicorn and sword.
Always have those with me.
Maybe I'll.
We're going right into the lion's den. It's like we know what to expect this time around, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have options. We just didn't really need to use them when we went over yours.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna go watch some TV and eagerly await your return. By the way, where's that other girl, Winnie? I haven't seen her all morning. And she still hasn't shown up. And you've been living with Winnie for a while, morning even longer. She normally is up, like, before sunrise.
I can go check. I'll, like, go down the hall to her door and knock.
You hear a soft, yeah?
Hey, it's morning. I was was just checking to see if you were okay.
Yeah, I am. You can come in.
Okay, I'll like really slowly open the door and like begin.
When you open the door, it is dark inside. She is like sitting in bed on her phone. That's the only source of light. And you notice that she her eyes are red.
Hey, you don't really look okay.
It's fine.
I'll go and sit next to her.
I had some bad dreams, is all. And as you approach the bed, you notice like there's a mountain of tissues next to the bed.
That does not... That's not okay, though. Winnie, you don't have to not be okay alone in the dark in your room.
I didn't want to... I don't want to burden you with anything. You have your big day coming, going back to Old Fur.
I'll like perch on the bed next to her.
She's not signaling that she doesn't want you there in any way.
I don't... One of my jobs was listening in the garden. And it's not a burden to listen. I don't want you to have to deal with nightmares alone. Or pretend like you're okay. It's okay to not be okay. And this is a lot of tissues. It doesn't feel like you're okay.
Well, for starters, normally I don't sleep. You know, I don't need to. She just like motions to her body. She's like, there's nothing in there. But I think I've been spending a lot of time in the world, and last night I think I fell asleep, if I remember what it's like to fall asleep. And then everything just washed over me. I saw the four of you going into that building, and none of you come out. I had flashes of the room he put me in, the bubble and the cold. And then just every time I had to die before. And I don't think it's fair. It always happens whenever I find people I care about. Something happens, either to me or to them. I would rather it happened to me, but with everything going on, and she like gestures to her ceiling, I don't know what's going to happen for I don't know anything. As she turns to you, her eyes are already like welling up. I'm scared. And I'm scared that I can be scared.
Morning tentatively like puts an arm out to offer a hug.
She'll take it.
Thank you for worrying about us. It's nice to have friends who care. I say that and it sounds silly, but like I haven't had that before. There's been no one to worry about me. There's been no reason for anyone to worry about me, and it feels like you value me. So, thank you. But it's okay to be scared. You've been through scary things. And what we're doing is scary. Yeah. I know. You have a lot of power. But, Winnie, you've also always had a lot of hurt. I knew it when I first met you and how you talked about your sons.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to feel that and to let yourself feel that. Just because you have this great power doesn't mean you have to look over your own emotions and feelings.
But that's just the thing. I don't control my emotions anymore. I don't.
You don't have to control them. Okay, so in the garden, when people pass through, they're only there for a short time. Time is weird. So some people are there very shortly. Some, it takes a while for them to process the fact that they've died. It's just, it's like preparing them for what's beyond. It's not a place that's discussed, talked about. You don't hear about it. It's not the afterlife. It's the moments in between. Everyone who comes through has something. Even those who die happy, surrounded by family and friends in peace, still need some moments to look back on their lives. Others need much more time because they've hidden their emotions, buried them underneath logic and events and excuses. You don't have to bury your feelings. You don't have to control them. You are powerful, but you don't have to be more powerful than your feelings. You're allowed to feel them, and it might help you process some things to feel them.
She would extend a hand to hold yours and say, "You are very much human. Despite not being of this world, it's... Yeah. Just promise me if things go bad, you're gonna take the others and you're gonna run away."
I'll protect them.
Okay. I'll be waiting here.
Okay.
Y'all better come back.
Okay. We will. Morning kind of lets go of this half hug and squeezes Winnie's hand with the one she is holding. And Once she gets to the door, she just kind of looks back and says, "Don't stay in the dark too long, okay?" Okay.
Before you leave, could you make a quick, we'll go with, that's the one weird thing, because there's no, like, spot check for something hidden. So what I'll do is, let's go with composure and empathy. So that during that scene, a fumble. Cool.
Oh no.
No, it's you just did not see what she was looking at on her phone.
Yeah.
But you're fairly certain you don't know what what she was looking at, but somewhere in your brain something tells you that, like, maybe you should ask her about that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also that's a point of momentum.
Yay, thanks. Now is not the time. Morning, despite her job being talking to people, is not used to phones. So that's why. Makes sense.
As you exit her room, the rest of the group is ready to depart. The GM has a question for you. Are you taking the bright yellow Jeep? Or are you just going to teleport back into town?
Teleport back into town.
Okay. You're going on foot?
I mean, I take midnight.
What? Foot, feet, and hoofs?
Obviously, yes.
I mean, if we need a ride to leave in a hurry, I'm sure we'll find something.
As the GM out of game, I will remind you that one of you needs to have at least one legend left to transform any doors into the portal back home.
Okay.
Otherwise, whatever happens, happens. Like, I mean, you can run, you can Uber your way back, but it's like a 4-hour drive. But that is up to you. I just wanted to remind you of the rule. You step outside the cabin, and all of a sudden, poof! You're in Niantic again. Cars pass by you downtown. You hear people walking on the sidewalks, talking. It's like 8:30 in the morning. The meeting's not going to happen before 10. You're a few blocks away from Wolf Security. You can see the tower in the distance with the Wolf logo on it. Otherwise, it seems like it's a perfectly normal day in Niantic. A day when mortals around aren't aware that 4 baby gods are walking among us. And that whatever Ulfer is about to hold court in his domain. You walk through the street, probably grab yourself some coffee. I would like to know, group, because that might come into question. How are you dressed?
Morning's dressed the same way as she always is. It's a flowy, pastel, light colored shift dress.
Kieran has on his snappy suit.
Dee has a dress blazer and has like black tank top and a skirt, and she has changed. She has before she did get her hair cut and dyed to make sure that, yeah, she's not going in with the same fox-colored hair that all of her prior members.
Eddie is dressed in a three-piece suit, except the jacket doesn't match the vest and the pants. The jacket is actually red.
Quick question, because some of you have, obvious relics on you. Eddie, are you wearing your t-shirt underneath everything? Okay. And you're wearing your pump-up Nike shoes with your three-piece suit?
Yes. Obviously.
Okay, just making sure.
In fact, his jacket matches his shoes. So
Yeah.
there.
Oh, nice.
It's
snazzy. You grab yourself some coffee, make your way to Wolf Security, and right at the entrance, like waiting outside, pacing nervously, is Jeremy Boyce, looking, like, scrolling through his phone for emails, and having a coffee in the other hand. He's so nervous that you can see his coffee shake and it spills from time to time on his fingers. He doesn't react to it, so it's probably cold by now. When he sees you approach, he perks up and immediately, puts his phone out, tries to wipe his hand, and then looks at the three of you, and then just stops and stares at the woman on the horse.
Morning graciously inclines her head.
We informed you that our intern would be joining us today.
Yeah. He looks to Eddie, and of course he knows that Ryu doesn't speak English, but he's still going to address Ryu and say, does that mean I have to get, like, a fancy horse or something? Is this part of the...
No horse is required on your part, no.
You are not ready for the majesty of a war unicorn.
Is this something you say in English?
No, he says this in Japanese
Okay,
for
all in
translation.
Japanese.
looks.
I see. Well,
Who's going to translate the Japanese? Is it going to be Sakura?
It's got to be
or-
Sakura.
Yeah, I think.
Because Kieran don't speak Japanese.
Yeah, she'll translate. She'll just, like, yeah,
word for
she'll,
word.
word for word. she's gonna step her for, like, oh my god, but she's gonna just do it straight face, just like, yep, that's what it is.
Okay. Hi, he extends a hand that smells of coffee to D. Boyce, Jeremy.
Bow. Don't shake his hand.
Oh, right. He bows.
Now go shake his hand.
The poor man is so utterly confused by everything.
I think, D's gonna just be like, nice to meet you. Sakura Kinomoto, what was my position? It was,
Marketing coordinator.
marketing coordinator. And then she'll kind of, like, get next to him and then just take out her phone and just, like, and then just, like, take a picture.
Oh, he's, like, half surprised.
She does it so fast and, like, and then just, like, goes back on her phone.
Morning says, marketing! Just one of the buzzwords they taught her.
He turns to Morning and he says, and you're the Queen's Guard Harris, right?
Yes, I am an influencer, and looks at Kieran.
Yes, that's correct. She's
Um,
also an influencer.
We're just gonna, look, I had to pull some strings and everything, and he turns to Eddie and he bows his head a bit, like, multiple times, and says, I am so very sorry, but, just, if you could, turns to Morning, if you could avoid mentioning Queen's Guard while you're in there, that would be very helpful to me in my career.
Of course. I can also leave my unicorn outside.
There's a strict no animal policy in the building. I guess you can...
It's hard for him to fit through most doors.
He looks left and right and it's like, can you tie him to a parking meter?
You'll stay. I get down from Midnight, I pet his snout, I say, we'll be right back.
In Japanese, you just gonna say, this is the type of leadership and guidance that you must aspire to.
Oh, yes, definitely. I just... And, like, he clumsily reaches into his pockets, gets his phone out, and starts, like, typing with one hand. It's like, normally we don't allow people... You've all signed the NDA. You'll be able to attend part of the meeting, but part of it is just not for anybody else's ears except the board. But there's a few things that I managed to score us a seat at the table. You might need to introduce yourselves, and Mr. Ulfer is definitely... I'm sorry, Mr. Stevenson is definitely interested in knowing about you and the work that you do. I think he might have a proposal for you. I spoke highly of your consulting firm, Mr. Dragon's Bane Chan. And yes.
That might be in character too.
He is unaware of the blunder. You're muted.
He's just going to say, thank you. I look forward to guiding you through your meeting today.
Shall we?
Yes. And he's just going to cast a side glance at Kieran, D, and Morning about just warning them, or just making sure that they understand that Ulfer actually knows that they're coming now.
Morning, I
Morning
figured
takes anything to heart. It's very serious, because she doesn't know what we're doing here. She doesn't understand a lot of what's going on, but she does take words to heart, like the buzzwords that I assume Kieran coached her on, things like that.
Yes, you have to throw the word analytics and synergy at least once every 3 minutes.
Yes, but it's like analytics.
Just
Synergy.
out of context.
Yes,
It's okay. In a corporate setting, it'll probably fit right in, unfortunately. You enter the tower, and Morning, you are immediately stopped by the security agent behind the counter. Up. And he points to the sword on your back.
Yes?
What is this?
A sword.
He immediately reaches for a handgun on his belt.
Excuse me, this is part of her cultural ensemble. We were cleared that she would be able to come with us as is.
Yes, she is Mr. Dragonsbane's personal bodyguard, and thus she needs to do her job.
I will need someone to make a not a wits, but a manipulation plus persuasion check.
Morning has a hand on her sword. She is not the one to do it.
Yeah.
Either D or Kieran, and you'll get an extra die from the other helping.
Manipulation and what?
Persuasion.
Oh,
Manipulation and persuasion.
Pretty.
Oh yeah, with 3 successes, Yeah. You don't need to roll more than that. He like sort of calms down, and you hear him mumble about like fucking religious nonsense.
Morning slowly lets go of her sword.
He looks to Jeremy and says, as he sits back down behind the counter, Jeremy, I don't know where you get your people, but this is ridiculous. And of course you would notice that, you know, he is dressed like a Wolf security agent. Like, why wouldn't Wolf handle the security for their own building? He sits back down behind his counter and just like resumes scrolling on his computer, whatever he's doing. Boyce brings you. Yep.
In Japanese, Ryu is just going to say, I hope thousands of ticks nest within your pubic hairs for this transgression. And he's just going to leave it up to D to translate that into something wise or profound.
D. She gives you I hate you look before she's like, and she'll like, well, we will understand this miscommunication, but
Yes, but to avoid it happening again in the future, is there some sort of tag or something that you can give us to put on her equipment so that it won't be questioned at further checkpoints?
The security agent looks up from his computer, visibly bothered that you ask him a question. And then he's like, no, it's... Just if anyone asks... You know, you've already cleared me, so it's probably gonna be fine.
And what's your name?
Bruce.
Bruce? If someone else tries to give us a hard time going through one of your additional checkpoints, I will refer them back here.
Yeah. Just sign the damn ledger. And he, like, pushes a ledger on the desk. It's just like, you know, entrance time, exit time, and then your name and signature. Which names do you put in?
Eddie is going to write down kanji, and it's just going to say soup.
Yeah, the Bruce doesn't know anything about kanjis, so he's like, I still need a signature. And he, like, taps the ledger where the signature is supposed to be.
I believe I gave the name Oliver Emerson to Jeremy, so I'm gonna use that as my name.
Yeah, D will just put Sakura Kinomoto in there.
Morning draws a sun.
The security guard sighs, takes the ledger, puts it away. Jay, I don't know how you still have a job here. Well, have a good day and whatever. He goes back to his computer for real this time. And you're cleared to go. Jeremy Boyce brings you to the elevator. He's getting more nervous by the second.
Mm-hmm.
He says the board of director is an impressive group of people. They decide the future of Wolf Security and everything. They are very important, and Mr. Stevenson answers to them. So I would advise not to speak to them unless spoken to first. I'm sorry, I do not know their names. I tried to make some research, but apparently that information is not public record. I think it's because they like privacy issues or something. I'm not quite sure, but if I were, and he turns to like Eddie, if I were in charge, I would change these things because I feel like keeping names in the dark is not the way to go. He waits.
Show much wisdom beyond your years. That's what he says. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll be like,
The elevator doors open to a rather lavish floor. It's different than I don't know if you remember, those of you that came into Wolf Security before. Like, it was your standard office building, you know, white walls, logos branded in a few places, cubicles, a lot of beige, light gray carpet everywhere, and these big, windowed offices, like with just glass walls and everything, so you can see what's inside because it fosters teamwork to not have anyone being hidden away from prying eyes or whatever. This floor, however, is different. You have wood panelings on the walls. You have a low ceiling with nice lighting. Like even wall lighting that looks like these Art Deco lights here and there. A nice mahogany desk for an extra receptionist, a woman. On her desk right now is like a tray with a mountain of muffins and a cardboard box of coffee. And she just leans over her desk as you exit the elevator. The floor itself, on the one side, so behind her desk, there is a locked door, locked electronically, that leads to whatever else is in this on this floor. But on the other side, so across from her desk to your right as you go in, is this glass corridor that leads to a set of wide, well-lit conference rooms with windows that give out onto the city of Niantic and the Atlantic Ocean beyond. Like, you can even see up, like, past the waterfront and everything.
mm-hmm.
You are on the 22nd floor of the building, so rather high. And she leans over and says, "Oh, they're waiting for you in room 3A."
I think just to mess with this guy, I think in Japanese, D's just going to say, "After you, Dragon's Bane-chan." Just enough to, like, have him, have...
He bows respectfully and just replies in Japanese, "Oh, you're learning. Well done." And he will step on through.
I can tell you, out of game right now, Boyce picked up on the Chan.
Yeah,
and
that's
that just reassured him that
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, he said the right thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just gave him confidence in his own mistakes.
Good God.
Terrible people.
You make your way to the
We are
conference room.
confidence men.
Yes, you are. The receptionist, a blonde woman, early 20s, her hair braided in a tight braid behind her head. Wide rim glasses. Is that how you say it? Like the black rimmed glasses and everything.
Sure.
That she's dressed in a business uniform, so skirt, blazer, shirt underneath, blouse I should say underneath, and she's bringing the tray in one hand, the coffee in the other, and you can see when she walks, like, she stands straight and walks, like, even like her head remains like at level, like a mannequin almost, walking down the catwalk. She follows you into the room and will set the tray down on a very long conference table. There are currently 9 people sitting there. You will be sat at the other end of the table. There will be a distance between you and the closest board member. So you have 4 board members on both sides, 7 men and 1 woman. And at the other end of the table, Mr. Ulfer Stevenson. His big brown mane of hair was tied up in a neat sort of bun in the back. His beard has been like trimmed a little, but not that much. And compared to everyone else here wearing suits and everything, he is still wearing he's well dressed, but like he's wearing a white turtleneck with just dark gray pants. Like he's in business casual where everybody else is actually, you know, business. And behind him is above him is a projector. There's a screen in back of him. And you can see projected on the screen. It says Wolf Security Q3 board meeting, and presented by Ulfer Stevenson. And when you enter the room, his face shifts. His expression, which was, you know, this plastic smile and just, you know, the fake persona that he gives himself, breaks when you step in.
Morning smiles pleasantly at him and takes her position very seriously behind Ryu as bodyguard / influencer / intern.
And before he speaks up, we're gonna go on break. And when we come back, the probably most high-stake board meeting I will ever have to put in a game. See you in a couple of minutes. How many
board meetings do you put in games?
So far, this is my first.
Yeah,
at least 2.
At least 2, yeah.
So,
okay, fair.
We'll be right back in a few minutes. Take some time to stretch, get something to drink, get something to eat. We will be right back.
Bye.
Hello. All right. Welcome back. So, we are in a conference room. Everyone sat at the table. Ulfer is trying very hard to keep his straight face on. Mr. Boyce, he says, why don't you introduce your guests to the board of directors? I heard that you wanted to attend this board meeting as part of the employee betterment system. I didn't think you were bringing an entire entourage. I was told this was only a coach. Boyce fidgets in his seat and says, Mr. Stevenson, and he gets up. Let me introduce you to the consulting firm of Mr. Ryu Dragon's Bane. We'll start with the man himself. Just know, Mr. Stevenson, that Mr. Dragon's Bane and board members, Mr. Dragon's Bane does not speak English, only Japanese. And Ulfer cocks an eyebrow and says, "Is that so?" He points to Eddie. This is Ryu Dragon's Bane.
In Japanese, he will introduce everyone else as well.
And Stevenson looks at everyone and nods. The other board members will look up to you from time to time, to the four of you, and then scribble something in a notebook. Boyce sits back down, and Stevenson turns and begins a formal presentation about, what has happened to Wolf Security in the third quarter, and what are he's not going to go into the projections for the next quarter because this is going to be part of the second part of the conference. I really don't feel like role-playing an entire board meeting, so I'm gonna ask you players, is there anything you want to do during that board meeting?
Well, yeah. What's the gist of his presentation, at least? What's he doing?
So he's talking about how their increased presence in private events led to a basically an uptick in their profits. You get the feeling that what Wolf is trying to do at the moment is to either buy out their not their rivals, their
Headers?
Their shares? Buy out their shares?
No, the competition. Oof.
Oh, okay.
So they're trying to basically acquire as many of these smaller security companies, bring them into the fold, and basically for now they are aiming at only private events. Their goal is to, you believe, to basically become, a national security firm. On par with what who were they again? Old security firm in the 1800s. It's not Wells Fargo, it's hot damn. They were in the northern United States. I don't remember their name, and that's bugging me. Chat, if you Remember, Pinkerton. Yes, thank you, Origami. Yes, the Pinkerton Agency. They basically want to become that. A sort of private, almost private FBI-like firm. He's even trying to have his staff get like formal investigation training. Sort of like also be certified as PIs, so that they do more than just security. They also handle, almost handle cases from beginning to end before handing them over to the police. He wants wolf security to be in every home. And the, warning system, the alarm system that they've been selling, I've been somewhat decent. One of the setbacks that they've had is that all of their stuff is reliant on the internet, and so they can't really reach remote areas where internet signal is either non-existent or not up to par with what wolf security needs. And yeah, it's pretty mundane as far as his presentation goes. The company's been making some profit, but they have recorded losses in the last few months. The board is asking questions about, like, why is it that we send... we pay employees, to go out of their ways, to go somewhere to... From what Ulfer said, like, scout out prospective clients. And among all of this, the four of you, maybe not mourning, but maybe, I'll leave it up to Renee to decide. This sort of matches with, like, the sightings of these wolf security vans elsewhere. And how he's probably using his company's resources to try to find other Scions. But he's keeping it under wraps, like as we're just sending, reps here and there. It's just, the reps are rather expensive. And armed. He excuses that under the mask of... if we're going to try to get customers, we have to show them what we can provide. So we have to have, part of the equipment that our agents are going to wear. We have to have demos of the various security systems that we sell and everything. But that's the gist of it.
I think it's at that point that Eddie will speak up and just comment and expect Sakura to translate for him. Well, having seen much of the world and have been studying Wolf Security's operations for the past several months or so, I find there are a lot of inconsistencies with your leadership. And I should know, I am, in fact, an expert when it comes to executive leadership. Now, what I want to express is that I found that the behavior of Wolf security agents has been, at these private events, has been rather aggressive and not in a respectful and appreciable manner. The fact that for all this talk about the security firm being a pack family, it is seemingly more like a predatory business practice, and one that I believe is very outdated in this day and age.
Alright. Eddie. I'm gonna need you to roll. You're taking the reins in this meeting. You're basically, I believe, trying to undermine Stevenson's position. Would you say that counts as leadership or persuasion? Or subterfuge?
I'm going to say subterfuge.
Alright. Can you make a presence plus subterfuge check? I'm gonna tell you right away what the consequences are going to be. You will need 1 success per board member if you want to get them on your side. So if you have 8 successes, your speech and just your presence will move them to be on your side. If you have, enough successes to convince all of them, good. If not, well, we'll see what happens. So anywhere between 1 and 8 successes, that's what we're looking for.
Oh. Can I help Eddie with that?
Yes, how would you help?
I am playing up, trying to have it so like Eddie's like words have and like kind of demeanor have the maximum effectiveness. I'm gonna like I'm gonna do the thing where Eddie goes to the entire like sentence or like phrase and then and then
translate after.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'll go for an extra die for Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
If Morning and Kieran would like to help, that could work too.
But we have additional opportunities to undermine him.
You might, yes. It's not going to be the end-all be-all. Unless you score, like Eddie scores 8 successes one shot, then I can tell you the number of opportunities to get the board on your side will be diminished, because they will be on your side anyway.
I will say that Morning is not involved. I'm sorry. She just doesn't know what's happening enough to influence. She's got a flowy dress and a big sword. That's it. That said, though, I am unopposed ahead of this roll to using momentum if necessary.
Yeah.
So
Take
take with that what you will.
Free will to momentum.
Okay.
Well, we just got here. I don't want to, set too many fires just yet. So Kieran will allow Eddie to carry it for right now. May come in later.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right, let's do it. Come on.
2 successes.
Okay, we got some.
I'm going to use.
Did you add the extra die for?
I did not.
Okay.
So I'm going to use three momentum and use that extra die.
Okay, so that's 4 more dice.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So close.
But hey, you've
2
convinced.
successes.
Yeah, you've
okay.
convinced 2 of the board members, so 2 of them, we'll say sitting on the same side of the table as the 4 of you, nod their heads and begins scribbling in their notebook. The others are like crossing their arms, looking at the 4 of you like, who the hell do you think you are? And Ulfer seems pleased at this reaction. Turns to D and says, well, if you wouldn't mind telling Mr. Dragon's Bane that he is welcome to try to run this company if he thinks he is so apt at doing so. The board here will acknowledge the fact that I have been the founder, the CEO of this company for nigh on 12 years now. And we have not once recorded any losses. I think my visions and my leadership are not to be questioned. I am, as they say, an alpha in here. I forgot to use my Ulfer voice, but
Yeah,
That
is so interesting that you should use such words that exemplify the growing toxic masculinity that you've been putting out there in the world. But I kind of question whether or not you are truly successful at the security practice, whereas you can't even protect your own things. And he's just going to show a lot of pictures, or pull out some pictures of his broken personal effects, like that they managed to take photos of, like his broken axe, his broken phone, the fact that there were security breaches there, the receipt for the funds that he charged to his credit card also being there. And then, let's see, what else did we have? And maybe the reports, maybe some reports from the events that happened at the carnival, as well as the investors meeting.
Oh, could we have taken pictures of the van after it's been like messed up or something?
With all the weapons in it?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we could probably retroactively say that.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
allow it.
Hell
Those pictures are what, on your phone?
No, I think that Kieran and Eddie would have talked about this, and Kieran would probably actually have several manila folders with all of the photos
Okay.
in there in a proper presentation format.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yes.
the board takes all of these. Boyce is taking notes, like, furiously about what's happening. You are about to turn this poor little innocent man into probably the worst leader ever. It's like, okay, so undermining people's credibility,
create a monster.
interrupting in meetings, like everything that he's like, I have to embody toxic masculinity?
Oh no,
Question mark?
he's like cut to like a few years later. Fortune 500 company top CEO. This guy.
Jeremy Boyce.
He puts out the next book on pickup artistry as well.
No.
He's the inventor of the Sigma male. That's what you
Yeah.
did, Eddie. That's
Oh,
what you
God.
did. But yeah, the board will start taking these pictures, and like the two of them that were on your side, you get the confirmation that like they probably knew or suspected some shady things, but the others gonna ask you to roll again. This time you have that information. You have the paper. That is very cunning of you. So we will roll cunning plus, oddly enough, we'll go with I don't think it goes into technology. So I think we'll do Cunning Subterfuge. Because it still is part of your master plan, though no one can help you with that because the pictures are already there. Like they're allowing you to roll.
Is there anything in Kieran's arsenal that she might be able to do?
There's nothing I can do to assist.
Okay.
Question mark?
We'll go with 2. I've got 2 successes here.
All right. Yeah, 2 other of the board members, the woman and another man, look at the pictures, and then they turn and like the woman raises her pen and starts questioning Ulfer. This here, and she shows the van in Ticonderoga that, you know, was, well, the tires are slashed. That is certain. The windshield has been broken, and weapons are missing inside. And she says, I don't think we can call ourselves the top security company if this, and she taps the picture, is what happens to our agents or our reps on the road. Now, I don't recall seeing any of these losses being recorded anywhere, and Ulfer interrupts her and says, the reporting hasn't been done yet. These things take time, you know. We have to investigate. We have to launch a proper investigation in what kind of people. And he looks at the four of you. What kind of people would break our property and steal our things? I do believe that my reps are also missing in action.
You aren't keeping track of your own people.
I am suspecting foul play.
Suspecting, but no investigation has been made as yet. This van was found like this, with several of your... This looks like excessive force to me, for one. You claim that you only come with whatever instruments are necessary to make a show of what you're capable of, but this looks like far more than just a show. This is a massacre. And yet this was left unattended. Your men are nowhere to be found. You can't account for them. And weapons are missing. You don't know where they are. Do you call this responsibility? This is your alpha male leadership in action?
Members of the board. And he swaps his USB key on his laptop to another presentation. I was keeping this for our afternoon private meeting. But what this Mr... Was it Erickson, the name you gave? Emerson. What this Mr. Emerson is saying is about this project. And you see the face of John, the hunter. Picture is taken of him, you know, kind of like what Finbar showed you, you know, from CCTVs and everything. This man is a dangerous criminal. He's managed to elude both the Secret Services and the FBI for years. Wolf Security, that is, my team, and the investigative division were able to track him down in a matter of days. He was picked among a list of cases, and he clicks, and you see just like a half-censored Excel spreadsheet. But somewhere along the list, you see Darika Higa, Eddie Kahele, Morning, in quotation marks, and Kieran Kearney. You see John Daniel Celeste. You see someone named Winnie Doe. Juan Carlos Esposita. Solomon Knox. There's like the Excel is zoomed out, so it's kind of hard to read all of the names, but you spot yours. There's got to be about like 20, maybe 24 names on there. Some have been redacted. This is a list of cold cases that I've been able to get my hands on. We opened up the investigative division to try to find these criminals and bring them to justice. My team, Mr. Emerson, was going to question this man. Now, their last position on the GPS indicates that they were at his residence. Now, what this speaks to me, and he looks at the members of the board, is perhaps we are lacking in training. Which, granted, if the board is willing, I would like to petition the board to get extended firefight and combat training for my agents. Something that exceeds far more the responsibilities of a security guard. We're not talking about keeping people in line for mall Santa or graveyard shifts at a shopping center. We're talking about hunting down criminals. It is a direction that I was hoping we could bring Wolf Security into, after all. He looks at the four of you. what better than a wolf to hunt down the bad guys? I am wondering, and he turns off the presentation. You notice that there were a few slides left. Like, it's like 3 out of, like, 22, but he turned it off there. I am wondering, Mr. Emerson, where exactly did you get these pictures?
I don't see that that's any of your concern, Mr. Stevenson. Not only that, but you've just admitted that you sent in untrained men to a situation that they weren't prepared for, armed with artillery that they weren't trained in. And you're wondering why you're recording losses.
From what I'm hearing of Kieran, this is very much him putting his foot down and trying to shut Stevenson up. So we'll go this time for presence and presence, persuasion, or leadership.
Presence, persuasion,
or composure.
Oh no.
Well, that's one success. So that's 5 board members that are now nodding along and turning back and forth between you and Stevenson. And you can hear Boyce whisper, "Oh no, they've got quorum."
I just might add that the idea of you taking justice into your own hands sounds very fascist. And the fact that you are trying to take this up and escalate conflicts rather than to use the shining example of your most dangerous competition, the Queen's Guard, the optimism and the familial qualities that they bring to their events, whereas their security members are almost like they're part of your family. I think you're just going to lose out if you continue along this route. Nobody likes cops, and they don't like fake cops anymore.
Stevenson, plays with the neck of his turtleneck for a moment, and when you're done, says, "Your communist hippie mindset, Mr. Dragonsbane, has never brought anyone money. This is a business, not some commune in the wilderness."
Really? Because that's generally where I thought wolves belong.
He sits back down, looks at the member of the board, and there's like a flash of worry. And he says, "Why don't we take a break?" And they nod. And everyone takes a muffin, takes a bit of coffee. They leave the room. They're standing by the corridor. You can see them through the glass windows. And he looks to you and Boyce and says, "Mr. Boyce, why don't you go entertain the board members for a moment? I wish to speak to your consulting firm personally." And Boyce looks at D and he's super happy. He's like, "See, I told you. He's gonna give you a job offer." And he takes his stuff, takes a muffin, and he walks out. Which leaves you alone with Stevenson. And his eyes switch from, the regular human eyes that he had this whole meeting to, like, the wolf eyes. What is it that you are playing at, whelps?
He's just going to continue in Japanese. Oh, I'm sorry. Does the hunter not like the tables being turned on them?
What did he say? Do you translate?
Yeah, I'll translate.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just keep going. I'll keep.
Okay, just making sure, because now we are alone.
We're so in character.
Yeah, we are in character. This is
okay.
She'll continue to play with her phone while she's translating.
You are meddling in a plan that was conceived far before you were thought of by your parents. You know I could get you get you arrested. Thrown out of this tower and into my personal playground. I'm going to warn you only once. Stop the charade and walk away. If you leave Niantic, nay, if you leave America, I will not sick my boys on you just yet. But if you try to come between me and my divine rights, you will find that the wolves is more bite than bark.
He looks over his shoulder a moment just to make sure that the people outside can't hear them.
They're talking.
Yeah. He's just going to say, oh no, I'm not scared. Are any of you scared?
Well then. And his eyes revert to normal. He gets up, opens the door, and motions for you to exit. We're gonna move on to the private part of the meeting. The woman that was part of the the board just says, Mr. Stevenson, could you give us a moment? We would like to address this consulting firm. And she like waves the manila folder. He doesn't look happy. And 3 of the board members go back in. Boyce is like shifting from one foot to the other, not knowing if he should come inside or not. Until Stevenson basically barks a Boyce. And Jeremy goes in to follow along. He closes the door. But you notice he is standing by the door, arms crossed, just throwing daggers with his eyes at the 4 of you. And she will introduce herself as Margaret. Sorry. Margaret Sanders. She is like one of the board members. I found your investigation very, very interesting. We were discussing it amongst ourselves. Mr. Stevenson has been... Well, this is confidential, so I'm not going to divulge anything, but would you allow us to use these? And she taps the manila folder with her other hand. I said, would you allow us to use these in a formal investigation into the actions of Mr. Stevenson?
Please go right ahead.
I would just need a few things, and she takes her pen out from her pocket. Just in order to make sure that these are, legal and everything, I would need to see the originals. Original file with the original metadata on it, just so we know that they haven't been doctored or anything. And then I need to know that nothing illegal was done or achieved for you to get these pictures and that information. I realize that however much she wants to help, a lot of the shit that happened was not entirely legal and would not fly in a court.
Yes, ma'am. Your name is, Margaret, was it?
Margaret, yes.
Well, we don't have all of this information on us currently. We didn't think that we would be shaken down for the originals of our files. So we'll have to get back to you later on this, if that's quite all right. I'll have to take down your contact information, if you would.
Yes. She flips a business card out of her pocket. She hands it to you.
Wonderful.
Give me a call whenever you have them. And the other board members, like the 4 other in back of her, like, they nod in approval. We think that Wolf Security should undergo some restructuring. And one of the board members says, why don't we pass it to a vote right now? I mean, we can. We could put Stevenson on ice for a while we investigate this and just have someone by interim.
While this is happening, I think in Japanese, Dee's gonna talk to Eddie and just says, do you want me to talk to the projector? And she just shows her cell phone and just like points at the camera.
I trust you. Do what you think is best.
Why don't you insinuate some rudeness from him first?
I would let it be known that our private conversation with Oliver Stevenson is that he threatened physical harm to my intern. This gentle waif with the heart of
with
a
the
warrior.
Sword.
She'll try. She'll like, word for word. It's like okay. She's trying not to, but she that she's like, oh my god, Eddie. But
Yep.
I think at that thing, I'm going to while they're kind of if they're talking about, I'm going to ask the projector to change its source to her cell phone.
But why?
Just play this. You'll be doing your bosses proud with this. I'm pretty sure that that mean guy over there will not be bothering you anymore. I'm pretty sure everyone else will treat you better after this.
I hope he keeps punching me.
I'm sure. Yes. Whatever you want.
Okay. When all is said and done, I would like to project a movie. I was made for entertainment, not boring business meeting.
Oh, why don't you play this one then?
Okie dokie.
It's pretty.
And the others go in Do you remain on the other side of the glass, like the windows? Do you just look into the conference room as this is happening, or?
Like we want to be in there.
Yeah, I think we want to be there. Like this is a.
Okay, because you're technically not allowed to be in the room for the second part of the meeting.
Oh, second part.
It's got sensitive information, or that's what he said.
Well, then he can throw us out himself.
So as you move to go in the conference room, Stevenson gets up and says, "This second part is confidential and only for the board."
That's fine. We won't tell anyone.
I don't think you understand.
I think we do.
And like, Margaret turns to him and says, "Ulford, they signed NDAs." And she looks at the four of you. "I think we might actually welcome them into the family." He growls. And everyone hears it. And he pretends to, like, cough right after. He says, "Alright, let's go into our projections for Q4, if you don't mind." And he lights up the projector. D, what does the projector show?
That conversation from her phone.
Make sure you cut it off before the English.
Oh yeah, of course. She has that editing software.
Yeah, he rapidly tries to turn it off and it doesn't work. And you feel happiness or joy coming from the projector.
Mm-hmm.
As the last three other board members look at this. And then Miss Sanders says, "I would like to add an item to today's agenda. I motion that we remove Mr. Stevenson from his position of CEO while we investigate these claims. His role as the face of this company is probably putting all of us in jeopardy and would reflect poorly on our investors and shareholders if these allegations were to be made public. We'll keep it within the family. But still, Ulfur, it would be best for you to take some paid time off while we go through this. All in favor?" And like 7 out of the 8 board members raise their hands.
Morning keeps smiling pleasantly at all of them, and all of this, she's trying not to,
You notice Ulfur is gripping the desk. And unbeknownst to the other humans here, like, he's digging into the desk and leaving claw marks.
Eddie will approach Ulfur and then pat his head gently, but with a lot of condescension. And it just says, "I do hope that you find an alternate and more spiritual path to your future and get past these very turbulent times."
I am not going to ask for a role to humiliate him. You pat his head, and he spins around and decks you across the face. With all the strength that he has, he's not acting human.
Morning draws her sword. She's bodyguard. Do you start filming?
Cell phone's out. Yep.
So
I could see Lynn like lifting her phone a little bit.
Let me give me 2 seconds. I need to get my antagonist sheet up. Get over here. Where are you?
While this is happening, Morning will draw her sword and to all of the other board members, like put out her hand and be like, "Stay back! Don't get hurt." He's clearly not thinking rationally.
Yeah, he's going to attempt basically what would be called a smashing attack. And he will even burn 1 tension out of my pool of 3 tensions. I'm now at 2, which I realized forgot to put on the overlay, so I'm going to add that. But do you try to get out of the way, Mr. Kahale?
No, because he's going to sort of turn this into further proof that they don't even need to do an investigation. They clearly need to remove him and make some concessions, or else risk being sued for everything that they're worth.
With 4 successes, his hand curl into a fist. He punches Eddie across the face, sending Eddie through the wall and into the adjoining conference room, where people gasp and scream as you break through the drywall and the wood, the glass, and you fall down. He's going to use his 4 successes actually to score a crit. Since you didn't defend, you will be right away injured.
So does my epic stamina help me in some fashion here?
What do you have in epic stam? Like, what are the powers that you have?
Oh, it just says you're immune to poison and disease unless they come from a source whose legend is equal and greater than yours, and never face complications or risk death from hunger, thirst, or exhaustion. Okay, I'm guessing not.
So right now, no.
Okay.
But you probably
So was there any way that I could have
wait.
resisted the damage in some fashion?
Yes. Yes, there is. Because I forgot about that. Y'all are still learning about your powers.
Yep.
So it might actually give me just enough time to get to the page. Epic Stam. Yes. You, yeah, we'll go with this. Unbreakable. Unless you wanted adamant body. Like, do you want damage reduction or immune to damage?
Maybe damage reduction.
Alright. So, adamant body, basically, when he punches you, your skin hardens. And it actually gives you a +1 soft armor. And the benefit of the resistant tag. We're gonna go into that, after the game. Put it on your sheet and everything. But basically it means that whatever damage he was supposed to score against you is lessened by 1. So that instead of a crit, which required 4 successes, this goes down to 3. So he can only score a bruise on you.
Does my shirt also give me any additional protection?
It would, but in this case, it was in your face.
Got it.
So you're basically just bruised. You're probably like have a bleeding nose, and that's it. Nothing else. You did, go through a wall. But yeah, because adamant body, what it can do, which is kind of fun, is it allows you to also become sort of immune to one type of damage. So you could say like, oh yeah, for this turn, I am bulletproof. So you can ignore, like, for example, the trait such as like lethal. So he cannot hurt you in any way that would leave a mark right now, because he's just punching. You still go through the wall, people are gasping, Morning draws her sword. He snaps at Morning and says, "This is not over."
You've just started something.
Eddie will pick himself up, dust himself off, and walk back through the wall. And then in Japanese, he will say something like, "Man who takes high road walks much farther." And then he'll rest an arm on, or a hand on Morning's sword arm as a gentle gesture to sheath her sword.
She lowers her sword, but she does not put it away, and she starts like visually checking in on the board members, because if she can, this is her. She's like confirming with them that they're okay and that she is allowed to put the sword away, because she is protecting them too.
Let me check. Are they okay?
Wow.
They nod their heads.
Wow.
Even Margaret just like, raises a hand very like subtly on the table to be like, yeah, it's fine.
She
Okay.
nods in acknowledgement and slowly puts the sword back behind her back.
Board members, is this the kind of person you want to see in charge of your security firm? This is the man that you've put your safety in the hands of. This man cannot even be counted on for your safety within this room, let alone the safety of innocent citizens the United States over. Not to mention if he tries to expand to other territories. Do you really want to give this man more money, more responsibilities, more anything? Look at him.
Margaret sort of interrupts you near the end of your sentence and says, "We know. And that's why Mr. Ulfer is no longer acting CEO of this company until such time as we sort this mess out." Ulfer,
I think there should be more than... Sorry, go ahead.
Ulfer, do we need to escort you out? And he's like, "No." And he angrily grabs his muffin and leaves the room. And that's where we're gonna end today's game.
I will still have my daily muffin.
We'll see you in court!
But yes, your actions, they were going to investigate him and everything, but he downright punched someone. Like, no, that is assault and battery. Like, that they have a criminal case against them. And while it could be chucked to the nerves, the emotions, or whatever, for all intents and purposes, what John told you about, yeah, you have just ruined his human guise. Now you're
Okay.
all of you are fairly certain, like, he's not leaving the building. He's going down into the basement.
Going to his room.
He's going into his room. You've got him maybe where you want him. We'll see what happens next week. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I know this was a corporate meeting roleplay session. It was kind of strange, even for me. But I hope y'all had a good time. Things are going to be a lot more dangerous and the stakes are going to be a lot higher from now on. You've angered the wolf. He's not going to let that slide easily. So, if you have anything to shout out, if you have anything going on next week before our next session, please shout them out. You can put your links in chat. Players, thank you so much for coming. We'll go same order as we did the intros, so we will start with the daughter of Inari. Lynn, where can we find you? Do you have anything going on in your life?
This was fun. Just destroying this poor man. Not poor man. This guy's life. I'm not gonna feel sorry for him, but it was good. But yeah, I'm Lynn. Playing Service on Twitter and Twitch, where you can see my art and the games I'm playing throughout the week. But tomorrow, next time you see me is probably for tomorrow for on Sunday on my channel for a Chill Gundam stream where we build Death Sight Hell custom little Gundam, and we guess I'm gonna have a friend on. We're gonna talk about Babylon 5 because I really talking and I really want to.
Nice. I love B5. I'll make sure to stop by. Next up, the daughter of the Morrigan, Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee Rhodes. I am at Ray Deanne R on Twitter and here on Twitch at Ray Deanne. I use she, her pronouns, as does Morning, the daughter of the Morrigan and warrior queen, who is very happy that she didn't have to play anyone but herself, but feels like she played herself real well. This is a great session. I loved doing a very tense board meeting, as only we would do. So thank you all so much. I will add that I have an actual play podcast coming up called Stone Soup for the Adventuring Soul. You can find it online at the hashtag Stone Soup Cast. And there are a lot of things that are coming together for that, including session 0 tomorrow with an incredible group of people as players. And then I'm also working on launching a Kickstarter for that. So if you want to check it out, follow me and follow the hashtag. Muted, Simon.
Of course. Thanks. I'll make sure to listen to some of Stone Soup when it comes out. Next up, we have Hannah.
I'm Hannah, Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios on Facebook and Instagram, and Just Plain Hanimation here on Twitch. And you can find me Fridays at 8:30 p.m. here on this channel for some Cyberpunk Red with Anino. And then here again on Saturday, 1 p.m. for Scion. So, fun stuff.
And last but certainly not least, Ryu Dragonsbane.
Hey everyone, my name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. See, I think tomorrow is a Ghost of Saltmon game. We'll see if that works out. It's going to happen at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Taco Doc channel. I'm just kidding. It's the other Doc channel. That's a reference to last night's episode of Cyberpunk Red. If you missed it, you should go back and check it out. But anyways, as Anna mentioned, swinging around next weekend for more awesome stuff on Simon's channel.
And I'm Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming today. We are not going to be playing D&D on Monday. We're on mid-season break. We'll be back with Rime of the Frost Maiden next week. If you want to get your weekly dose of Cyberpunk, you can find me in doing 3 shows on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on Unmade Gaming for Cyberpunk Phoenix with Team NPC. We have 2 sessions left for this story of corporate shenanigans. We have the Sirenscape show on Thursday if you want to see a cast of brilliant, but not as brilliant as these folks, role players and an amazing GM. You should, which is not me, by the way. You should definitely stop by at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Sirenscape Twitch channel on Thursday. And then Friday at 8:30 p.m. is our Cyberpunk Red campaign here on Wandering DM. Then next Saturday, of course, Scion. And if you want to see my face again playing a sweet, confused wolf boy, You can check out Romance of the Blue Rose on Praxagora Thesmophoria's channel as we play in a game of romantic fantasy. That is all for me. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you, players. Thank you, chat. We will see you again next week. Stay safe. Bye-bye.